I have the new Urban Decay Naked Honey eyeshadow palette to share with you guys today. This was sent over to me in PR, so a big thank you to Urban Decay for sending this over. One of the things I really appreciated about this PR package is it came in a really kind of compact, simplistic box that looks kind of like recycled cardboard. I appreciate that. The original Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion also came in the box, which is just a little bit too drying for my eyes for everyday use. But if it was like super hot outside and I wanted my shadows to not budge, I would go for something like that. This is what the outside box packaging on the palette looks like. And then here is the packaging on the actual palette. Personally, I've been more excited about this palette than some of the others because tones like this really complement my green eyes well. I have a little bit of yellow veining inside my green eyes, so I feel that kind of pulls it out. Inside the palette, you have got 12 eyeshadows. Each shade is 0.033 ounces per shade, which is a little bit small in terms of the amount of product that you're getting. In the new Urban Decay Naked Reloaded palette, the pans of the same size were 0.038 ounces per shade, so just a little bit more in those standard size pans than this one. And then inside the palette, you do get a double-ended synthetic brush. The ends of these are really soft, but the bristles are still kind of firm. So like you could pack on and then blend with this same brush, and then there's kind of a little packer on the other side. I did do a demo with this palette, which is the look that's on my eyes right now, and that will be towards the end of the video if you're interested in seeing how these eyeshadows went on for me. I will get up close and point out the mattes and the shimmers and give you guys some swatches here in a minute, and I'm going to compare them next to some other Urban Decay Naked palettes so you can kind of see the color stories between them. To date, this has been the easiest Urban Decay Naked palette that I've worked with. I feel like their mattes have gotten better definitely over the past year or so. I used to have trouble with their matte shadows because they're really thin. And I had a hard time getting them to kind of stick to each other when I would blend, and they would just stop blending. The last couple palettes they've released, including like the Game of Thrones collab, I haven't had that problem. These ones here blended out great. They have great pigmentation. They build and they blend and they have very little fallout. For this to be a really complete palette for me, if they would have made this shade right here a matte, that would have been perfect. But it's kind of a satin finish. It does have a sheen to it. It would have been perfect if this shade was a matte. I did bring in Wet n Wild's Brûlée eyeshadow today. I've been using this palette quite a bit. I've used all of the shades, and I had been using this guy underneath the brow bone, but for today I was like, I just want a matte underneath the brow, so that's what I did. I do think it would have been kind of fun to throw in a little bit of like a money green type of a shade, just to kind of spice it up a little bit, but other than that, these colors go together really, really well, and I haven't had troubles with any of the shades, although the shade Honey, I do have to kind of wiggle my flat shader into that shade to get the product to pick up, but it goes on pretty well. That's that pretty gold that you see on the lid. So here is the palette up close. I really like the packaging on this guy right there, and then inside you do have a mirror in there that flips out to be flat right there. And then here are your 12 eyeshadows. So this shade right here is a satin finish, and then for mattes you've got Sweet, which on a deeper skin tone than mine, that would definitely work as a brow bone highlight, probably both of those. Sweet, Swarm, Keeper, Hive, Drip, and Sting are all the matte shades in here, and then you've got that one satin, and then Amber, Golden, Honey, Queen, and HBIC, which I'm not sure what that stands for. Those are the shimmer shades. There are some larger sparkles in the shimmer shades, but I don't see any noticeable large chunks of glitter in any of them. So let me go ahead and give you guys some swatches. So there are the first four, and then these next four. You can kind of see that honey shade after I've swatched it, that it's got a little tiny bit of hard pan forming in it, so I can kind of feel like there's a bit of silicones in that guy. That's the one I do have to wiggle my brush into that guy. This color is beautiful. See if I can fit them all in here. There you go. Come on there, buddy. So there are all of the shades right there. So hopefully I don't drop these, but I really wanted you guys to see the color stories next to each other. Comparing these four together, you've got the new Naked Reloaded on the top. The Naked Cherry is the second one down. The third one down is the Naked Heat, and then the bottom is the Naked Honey. I feel like Naked Honey really stands out next to the other three palettes in terms of colors go. Can you see them a little bit better there? Hopefully that was helpful for you guys. Again, this is my favorite Naked palette, I think. I think this is my favorite one. You know, granted, with the Naked palettes, they all have a pretty strong color story. With the exception of the Reloaded, I feel like there's a little bit more diversity in that one. But otherwise, you know, you're going to get a variation of very similar looks out of these palettes just because the tones all correlate really well together. There isn't a lot of differentiation. I feel like this palette, for me at least, was very, very easy to use and just create a pretty look that complemented my eyes really well. So I'm thinking this is going to be my most used Naked palette. Real quick on the card that came in the box, it says September 13th, it's launching on urbandecay.com and Sephora.com, in store at Urban Decay and Sephora. September 23rd, Ulta, Macy's, Nordstrom, and Belk.com, and then September 26th, in store at Ulta and Macy's, Nordstrom, and Belk. Okay, now if you're interested in seeing the demo part of this video, we're going to go ahead and get into it right now. I prime my eyes from the lash line to up underneath the brow with the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue in Opal 01. Now I'm going to take a Sonia G, this is the Builder 2 brush, and I'm going to go in to the shade Flyby right there, which is kind of a satin color. And put it on the first third of the lid there. I'm going to flip over that same brush and go into the shade Honey. I feel like we have to use that shade because it's called Honey. And it kind of looks more like a gold and green in the pan, but it does go on like a pretty true gold on the lid. Again, with that same brush, I'm going to go into the shade HBIC right there. It's kind of a bronze shimmer. And just put this kind of out here. Then using a Chicano GSN 9 brush, I'm going to go into the shade Sting and mix it with a little bit of the shade Drip, which are both matte shades. More of Sting with just a dash of Drip. It sounds silly when I say it like that, but I'm going to put that in the crease and wing it outwards towards the tail of my brow to hide my hood there. I got a teeny amount of fallout here. I'm just going to brush it off. Then using a Hakuhodo J146 brush, I'm going to go into the shade Keeper, which is one of my favorite mattes. It's kind of a mustard brown, mid-tone kind of brown shade. I'm going to blend this out. There isn't a matte brow bone shade in the palette for my skin tone, so I'm going to go in with Wet n Wild's Brûlée eyeshadow, and I'm going to put that underneath the brow before I go back to the palette there. I'm going to put that through here and up through the front right there. Then using a Rephr P07F brush, I'm going to go into the shade Swarm, which is that guy right there, and just get some of that on the very tip of my brush and run it through here. Then I'm not going to pick up any more product, but I just like to run this. This is a Esom G29 brush that I used with the Wet n Wild. I just like to run this through here to make sure that's nice and blended. And there's the shadow done. I'm going to go ahead and finish up my eye makeup, and I'll be right back to put on some lips for you guys. For lips, I've got Charlotte Tilbury's Lip Cheat in Iconic Nude. I'm going to go ahead and line my lips with that guy and bring it in just a little bit. And then to fill them in, I have got the Urban Decay lipstick in Sanza Stark, which is just kind of a sheer orange color. I'm going to fill them in with that guy. I want just a little bit more brightness in the lips, so I'm going to go in with Colourpop's Carousel lipstick and just go over that Sanza Stark. Yeah, that's about right. And there is the overall finished look using the new Urban Decay Naked Honey eyeshadow palette. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to wear sunscreen, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.